Ah, we are live. We are live. It'd be interesting for me to check actually to see if we're actually live in our actual Facebook group and not somewhere random. But hello, Meet Your Soulmate Challengees. This is the amazing Sophie and the amazing Rachel, and they have been so kind. Like, these are two very busy women, and they've been so kind to give their time and share with me a little today on, oh yeah, we are live there. That's great. To share with me on their experience of the Daring and Mighty Love program, because these two both did the 5-day challenge, and then they both went on to do the Daring and Mighty Love program. So we thought we'd have just a quick chat. Sophie's on a train platform. Yeah. And Rachel's there in her office. Actually, Rachel's frozen, so that's, oh, she might come back. Hey.
Hi, sorry, I'm downstairs to my router.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
We've had Virgin doing an install, and I don't know what's going on.
You guys are amazing.
I also have to caveat and say that I have a very poorly 5-year-old home today. So if he makes an appearance, that is fine.
And he's allowed. This is, look, I'm here with wet hair from yoga. We've just done last minute tech stuff because Zoom decided not to work. So, oh, no, she's back. Yeah, but it's great to have you both, and the other participants weren't able to join us today because, you know, life, work, it's not that easy to get you busy and make women available all at the same time. But let's just dive in because I know you've got limited time. So should we start with you before your train comes? So what I'm most interested in...
I've got this mask. I'm kind of like, I should have this mask.
What brought you to this work in the first place?
I knew that I was all over the shop, and I was on a roundabout. I'd tried various books, and they hadn't quite kind of gone in and stuck with me. And I just knew I needed some really real proper guidance. And a friend of mine, my daughter's friend, put me in touch with you. And as soon as I spoke to you, Katie, it all made sense. Everything that you were addressing, it was just kind of gut instinct thing. I knew you addressed what I needed to address. And it's something that I've really been able to, the way everything you say, the way you put it across, your modules, your courses, it makes sense to me. It's one of the very, very few kind of guiding programs, if you like, that has properly made sense to me. It's a life changer for me, honestly. You know that. I can't thank you enough for it.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And how about you, Rachel? What was what actually brought you to this work?
So I, like Sophie, kind of delved in and out over at least a decade, and had really kind of turned a corner in 2018, and I was doing a lot of work with Artie Wu's meditation forum, and I had done his 7-day healing and his parenting courses, and had really felt connected. And I don't even know how, that's my dog, I don't even know how I came across your site, but the challenge kept cycling in over the week before it was starting, and it just wouldn't get out of my face. I was like, fine, I will do this challenge, and it's going to be stupid, and I don't want to. And then it was amazing, and I set aside time that week, and I was just like, can't believe I'm doing this. This is, as my dad would say, this is some hippie bullshit. And I was like, yeah, but I really like hippie bullshit. Why do I keep pretending that I don't? I don't know. Let's address that as one of our values here. And then when it came to its end, when the course concluded, I will say, there was the option to have a call with you. And I booked it for like 3 weeks out, and I think I probably rescheduled it once or twice.
And I think you might have cancelled it, actually. And then
yeah, that sounds about right.
It was like on, off, should I, shouldn't I? Yeah.
And within the first 5 minutes of our conversation, when I finally committed to having the conversation, I knew that I needed to learn from you. And it was,
Right. But you've done loads of stuff before, and
well,
you've
yeah,
had,
I mean,
like,
I'd been working very specifically at it from probably two trauma angles. So the death of my son and the death of my mom. And I hadn't really looked further back. I mean, I had just started to look at some sexual abuse issues that happened when I was a kid, but I didn't have a framework for how to thrive. I was literally just surviving. And even my language would be like, you know what? I am literally just trying to get through this week. I don't have any hopes higher than that. And I wouldn't let myself go any further than that because I didn't feel like I deserved to. I didn't feel like it was for me. I felt like the choices that I made were ingrained and that I couldn't change my mind. And that I couldn't. And there was this disconnect. Sorry, I don't know why I start crying every time I talk about this.
Oh, it's okay. It is emotional.
It's that, and I remember saying this to you in our first call, that I don't know that I have felt that my intuition, my heart, and my head have been in conversation or dialogue or trilogue for decades. Like, my head is definitely running the show, and everything else is literally like, this is a bad idea. My head's like, nope, this is what we're supposed to be doing, and this is what we're doing, and this is how we handle it, and this is what we do. And it had just gotten to a point where literally even my health was taking a toll.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so that's how I came to the work. And it wasn't until I said to you, oh, well, I'm thinking about doing a couple of your online courses. And you just looked at me like, well, you can do that. Go for it. You can do whatever you want. And I stand by all of the work. And that was what got me. When you said, I stand by all of the content that I have created in those online courses, and they will definitely benefit you. But when are you going to reach a point where you will allow yourself to invest in you? I was like, God damn it, Katie Phillips. I'm going to do it. And I think,
was it worth it? Are you glad you did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to mimic Sophie here, and I'm going to say that you've helped change the trajectory in the course of my life.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, yes. Probably more than at least one of the master's degrees that I dumped money into. I'm looking forward to meeting you in person. I am not looking forward to walking down the graduation aisle. Like when I think of post-COVID things that I want to do, and things that I've put money into thinking this is an investment, and not felt like I've gotten a return on investment. There isn't even a doubt in my mind that there was a return on investment within the first week of our group work, which I have to confess to being highly, highly suspicious and resistant to, because I do not innately trust large groups of women. It's just not been the best experience for me traditionally. However, in the last 8 years, that has changed.
Wow. And so, sorry, Sophie, I had you unmuted. I had you muted for a second there, Sophie, just to reduce background noise. But do you want to chime in? Feel free. Sophie, is it too noisy?
The train's just gone by, yeah.
Okay.
It's really noisy. What was I saying? But yeah, I mean, that's part of it, that you meet people, and I mean, exactly like you, Rachel, trusting groups of women. It's like, my experience of groups of women is not always positive. And so we can't, that's what you realize when you meet everyone, and it's a small group of women on the same page. And what absolutely blew my mind was that we instantly, it's not a connect. It's more like you kind of spiritually joined in a way, because you're there for exactly the same purposes. And the more you can share and the more safe you feel. And I've never shared vulnerabilities. I've never felt safe in women groups like this before. And the vulnerabilities we've shared and the strength we've created and support that we've offered each other has just been mind-blowing. And we've come at it from so many of the same perspectives. And it's always that common ground. There's more and more common ground. The more vulnerabilities you share, the more support you find, and the more common ground you find. We're women. The lives we're living, we can relate to.
Yeah.
I think that was also pivotal for me, is that realization that I need community and I need sorority. And I've known intuitively that it's missing. But again, a lot of my geographical existence has been moving ridiculous numbers of times. So I never felt like I could really invest in those relationships. And yet I have a phenomenal support network scattered across the world. But it is phenomenal. And what this reinforced for me is that actually I am allowed to have that, and that I need that connection, because the experiences that I'm having are not exclusive to me. They feel exclusive when I'm going through them alone, crying at 3:00 in the morning. But I am not the only woman in the world up crying at 3:00 in the morning, be it over some janky dude, or because the 3-year-old, the 5-year-old is projectile vomiting, and I have to wait until he stops to clean him up and change the sheets. I'm not the only person going through that.
Yeah.
And that ability to redirect the energy has been huge. And then the fact that you managed to cobble together, not even managed to cobble together, it's more than that. You put a lot of thought into the people that you connect us with. And I don't know that I've ever had my bullshit called out so much as I did in the first 15 minutes of a conversation with James Priest. And I was like,
no bullshit, absolutely.
Yeah.
No bullshit.
I don't think I like this very much. And then I was like, oh, but it's good. I feel that burn. Oh, yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair, James. You're right. I don't know that
But that's the important thing, isn't it? And I love that I've got 3 other coaches involved in this, bringing different angles and aspects. So it's a very holistic program. And we are all, by our very nature, because I'm going to include me in this, because I think I call you out on your bullshit quite a lot too. With love, but we're here to get change. We're here to move you forward. We don't want to be
But see, James doesn't know me to love me, right? He's like, I don't have to love you.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying that picture in your profile has to go.
It's like, that's not a real smile. Who are you? No wonder you're attracting weirdos. I'm like,
yeah, he is no bullshit, that's for sure. Yeah. No, it's all about moving you forward, isn't it? Like, it's all about not being stuck in your stories anymore, healing what needs healing, but with a real focus on, while we do deep healing work, and anyone who thinks they've done all the deep healing work will come and be like, oh my God, I didn't realize I had more to do. Because that was my case too. I'd done so much therapy, coaching, private coaching, group coaching, online, I'd done it all before I went and dived deep into the work that I take you girls through. But it's all about, it's all about empowering you, isn't it? And moving you forward. Would you agree?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's about developing that toolkit.
Yeah, it's about owning it. Yeah. So that you, I mean, it is transformational in that sense, but it's, we take it, you teach us to teach is the wrong word, guide us to learn how to, empower is a funny word, isn't it? But it's, to be conscious of our energy, the masculine, feminine energy, how disempowered or empowered it is. There's so many tools like that. The releasing of,
It's okay. I can hear you. I can actually hear you, bizarrely.
Accessing our feelings, accessing our, being aware of our body, so many fundamental tools that are a daily practice that make it transformational.
Yeah.
That it goes in, it sticks. How do you do it?
What would you say you've received? Like, what has been, you know, what have been your results from doing this work? What would you say your results are?
For me, on a spiritual level, it's put me more in touch with my soul, being honest with my real desires, and therefore the truth of me, and not not being ashamed or afraid to admit that, and to know that by following those desires and really balancing the masculine and feminine energies, I can make things happen I never believed I could. That's,
you
I
and I had
what you've opened the door to.
We were having conversations about excuse me, career, business, money. Like, it wasn't all limited to calling in your guy, right? It's quite holistic in that sense.
For me it is.
I mean, from my standpoint,
mainly guy.
I feel like you reminded me that I already knew how to fish. If you know what I mean. There's that adage where, you know, you teach someone to fish and you teach them to thrive. And it was something that I said to you, you know, like, am I calling in my soulmate? Oh my God. And I think I said something along the lines of, I don't know that I'm looking for my soulmate. I kind of want to be my own soulmate. She's like, and you, Katie, said, don't tell everyone, but that's kind of the point. I'm telling everyone. It's kind of the whole point of why you're here, because you are your own soulmate. And then you find the person who complements you, who doesn't complete you, because you are already complete. You just have to remember that. And that, it's that, in fact, I made it an affirmation that I recorded a few weeks ago. And especially this week, weirdly, this week, I'm so glad that I signed up to do the 5-day kind of recap, even though I'm catching up on, as a recap for me. Obviously, it's not. Because this week I really needed that additional reinforcement to remind myself to make the time and to take the time and to not get hung up. Like, all of my preconditioned stuff really wanted to grab back some power this week and wanted to, like, have a coup. Like, no, we're not having a coup this week, but it's so cute that you want to come and sit at the table. Not even cute. In fact, we have a table for you. It's over here, right at the edge of the group. And when you've stopped throwing food, you can come sit with the rest of us. So your food to the left, not to the right. It really has been like a week where I'm not going to do this. Why is everyone doing this? I'm like, oh, actually, maybe I'm the one. Dial this back and really step out of the situation. I think I might just need a nap.
Right.
Some yoga.
Speaking of naps and yoga, how did you guys, I mean, you both are busy, right? You're busy women. How did you, and Sophie, are you able to keep talking, or do you have to get on your train? Where are we at?
Yeah, I've got 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. I'll start with you. Sophie, you go first. How did you balance, like, how did you find the time to be a mom? Yeah, be a mom, run a business, work, and do this?
I think because you just want to. You meet people who are offering you what deep down you know you need, and certainly for me, it was a case of needing to share it. I knew I needed to be in a group, like you were saying, a sorority, Rachel. I really needed to be in a sorority, and being in this group proved that that's what I needed to be able to walk through that door and open up with a group of like-minded, beautiful, supportive women. And so you find your time. You just, you know, it's a focus. You just know it's like any passion, isn't it? You just, you find a way of doing it.
What was, Sophie, while I've still got you, and I'm going to come to Rachel and ask these same questions, but I'm grabbing you before you leave. What was your biggest block to joining Daring and Mighty Love? Did you have any resistance? Did anything come up for you?
For me, it was the sorority. It was definitely the can I share my vulnerabilities, because I'm such a private person. Will I really be able to share my vulnerabilities? Will I be able to find a voice and really share openly? And it's still work in progress for me, very much. You know, I'm very good at shutting down and everything's fine type thing. So that's a big area, but I did it, you know.
Yeah, you did.
It's because of the group you created that I could do that. You enabled that, Katie, and everybody, you, Rachel, everybody, all these fantastic women that I now know.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about the financial commitment? Because that's quite a big one.
Yeah, that's a big pull as well. It's a major decision. But again, because, you know, I think it's an instinctive thing. I think it's like we were saying, that kind of investment, like the big things you invest in, like a house, you have to be sure. And I was sure. I was really sure by this time. Having done your 5-day challenge, I just knew that investment was going to pay me back. And it is.
Yeah, it is. Oh, you're amazing. I know you're going to have to go. So before the train comes in and you can't hear me, I just want to say I love you. I know, I love you. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Thank you, darling. I'll let you go and I'll carry on with chatting with Rachel.
Can I just quickly say, because life is about experiences. We have this experience. It will never go away. We have it to keep. And I love you for that. All of you.
You're going to make me cry now.
Thank you. I am crying.
Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. Oh my gosh. And isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth, that life is about experiences? And you know, I started to say on the call, on the live last night, because it's really been hitting me. Like when I look back at all the personal growth work I've done and what I've invested in, and it has been significant. And I have put myself through the ringer. And it's been exhilarating and adventurous and exciting. And I've never felt so proud of myself, that doing that work and being supported by somebody who knows how to support you. And I've had amazing coaches. It's such a privilege to be supported like that and guided home to you like that. Like, that's an amazing life experience. You know, I think what Sophie says is so true.
Definitely. And you know, it so much of my work has come through the filter of grief. And I think, you know, it's like a journey. You go on this journey, and maybe if you're lucky, I used to say, maybe if you're lucky, you end up 5 minutes down the road from where you started, because you can never end up exactly at that point, because you're never in that moment again.
Yeah.
But now I think it doesn't even matter where you end up. It's just that you are willing to pick up your backpack and go on the journey. So
yeah,
when I was going through the dance of I'm canceling these calls, I'm rescheduling, I'm canceling. I was making it. I was telling myself that it was about money, but I knew that wasn't why. Because within 2 hours of us having the conversation, I had paid in full. Like, that wasn't the issue. The issue for me was, I don't present as someone who has trouble sharing truth. I have no issue telling you my story. I have every issue really looking behind that and seeing and looking at those at the deeper hooks behind them and untangling them from my fishing net, if you will. Like,
yeah,
that's been huge. And knowing what to throw back and what to keep.
Yeah.
I have a huge estate car. I'm the kind of person who, if I'm driving down the road and I see a table that somebody's getting rid of, I think, do I need this table? When could I use this? Does somebody I know need this broken window frame? I might need this.
Why are you sharing that? Why are you saying that?
Because I feel like for a really long time, that was my default mode. I will keep everything on board, all of the good and the bad. I won't set it down because I might need it someday.
Mm.
And now I'm like, if I need it again, I'll find it. I know where to go look if I need it again.
Yeah.
I don't have to carry it all with me all of the time. And I don't have to wear my masculine armor all of the time. And sometimes I don't have to be in my feminine all of the time. And actually, maybe for me, being in my feminine is walking around eating pizza in a pair of cutoffs and a baseball cap backwards, going, oh, yeah, that's okay. That can be my feminine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
No, all right. So tell me a little, I mean, did you have any other resistances to joining the program? Anything you want to share in addition?
I was worried about the time commitment. I was worried about whether or not I would have all of that time free. I was worried that I had to, what was I worried about? Because I overthink everything traditionally, I have overthought everything. I was worried that I'd forget to turn up. I was worried that I would forget that I had coursework that I had to do. I really initially thought that I was going to approach it like taking a course at uni.
Right.
And I have to be there and I have to take notes and I have to take notes and I have to take notes. And it wasn't like that at all. And to be in a position to have to actively shut off my intellect and think with my heart and my intuition was so freeing. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah. It is single-handedly, it is more terrifying than having taken a child off of life support. It is more terrifying than going into labor. It is more terrifying than divorcing my ex-husband. It's more terrifying than all of that. I didn't think that I would be able to do that. Because I haven't let my intuition out of her cupboard for a very long time. I have repeatedly ignored it and just said, oh, that's just folklore. That's just inherited, which is ironic because I spend my professional life championing folklore and the importance of storytelling and the intangible as being as valid as tangible cultural heritage. No, like it is the deepest irony that I personally did not feel like my own voice deserved to be heard and to have a seat at the table. And sometimes lead at the table. Sometimes it has to lead the print, it has to lead the call.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's neutral, right? Like the energy is neutral. Money is neutral. It's what we do with those things and how we receive them and how we interpret them and where I put. I was talking with a friend the other day and I said, I live by walking my walk and talking my talk. I don't want, desire, or long to live my life any other way. And she said, I used to do that, but I don't do that so much anymore. And I said, well, there will inevitably, I'm sure, in my journey come a point in time where I don't feel that that is my path, but this is my path. And I don't like to turn up for things that I don't feel I can commit to. But working with you has reminded me of the difference between saying no to something that I've previously agreed to and using sheer force of will to override every indicator that something isn't working, and knowing when actually what I am supposed to be doing is saying no.
Yeah.
I don't have capacity for this.
Yeah. Which sounds like self-trust.
Yeah. And really investing and taking that time out to recognize over the 14-week period. I mean, I dug up stuff that I had never, ever paused to think was an issue. I mean, I had a comprehensive list of things I was pretty sure I was going to have to touch on.
Yeah.
And right, do you know what I mean? Like I had winged the paper. I was like, oh, I got all the list of the issues. I got the daddy issues, I got the mommy issues, I got the sibling issues, I got the dog issues, I've got the cat moved out issues, I've got all of the issues. What am I going to do with all of these issues? And then to find out that there are things about myself that I just ignore or have ignored, and how I talk to myself and what I say to myself when I'm talking to myself in all of these different incarnations. Transitioning my language has been revolutionary. And it's something, when you're doing the work on your own and you're doing it in isolation, and even if you're doing it in, a predominantly online environment, you're still doing it in a period of relative isolation. And you're really only accountable to yourself, right? So it's one thing for me to say, I'm going to talk to myself differently. It's quite another to sit down and write out, how am I talking to myself differently? What am I going to say to myself when this comes up? And it wasn't until, I think it was in the first fight, and I know you touched on it in one of the replays here, the self-affirmations and that missing jigsaw piece.
Yeah.
And how you have to acknowledge where you are in that moment. I know what this is bringing up for you, but we're not 12. And I have this. And I can look back at the list that I brought to the table and the things that have come up and know that I am so far not done with this work, because it is work that you never finish. I don't think it ever finishes, and I don't think that it ever should. And I had a professor once when I was working on my last dissertation say to me, and it was a trauma-focused creative memoir piece. And he said, Rachel, the work that you're doing, not this dissertation, but the stuff that you're sifting through and working on it, is the most important work that you will ever do. And if there is an opportunity for you to find it and do more of this work, you must. You must.
Yeah.
You must. And I was like, freaking white man telling me what I'm going to be doing. He's right. He's right. It is. It is the most important work. And to the point where how I communicate with my kids is different. For the most part, how I communicate with my co-parent, my ex-husband, which is a significantly, occasionally tense thing, it is different. I am bringing a different approach to how I have worked with my life and what I want from my life.
I've noticed for you as well, lots of work opportunities suddenly appearing as well. Like there's been some amazing kind of career work related stuff shifting.
A lot of shifting, and I'm working on this phenomenal archives collection at the moment, and the synergy and synchronicity that is just coming out of this work has allowed me to kind of step back and say, do you know what? I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about that.
Mm.
I don't like when people treat people with disrespect. It is a huge bugbear of mine. But it's also not my job always to coach other people on manners, because actually that's just as bullying.
You're speaking to those workplace relationships right now.
The work relationships, definitely.
And
to kind of have to step back and be like, oh, all right, well, I'm going to look at these other opportunities and really think about those opportunities in alignment with my values.
Yeah.
How do they fit? What am I doing now? And how does that align with my values?
Yeah.
And have my values shifted since I last took stock? I think that was something that I had never fully taken on board. And I had a career coach, I think in 2005, very briefly when I worked in the startup world. And I had done like a values thing. How does it never occur to me that my values are going to shift because I change? But you think, well, I've done that. I've taken that stock once. I don't need to go back and reevaluate where we are in the value inventory because that's been done. That's not true. It's like with anything, you're constantly taking stock, constantly doing your internal inventory. Maybe you're not vocalizing it, but things realign and they shift in priority. And to be reminded of that and to be able to do it in an environment with a group of women who I didn't know, but we came together organically. It still makes me smile that after doing the 5-day challenge, 3 of us reached out to each other independently of knowing that we were going to be doing the challenge together or doing the Daring and Mighty together.
Wow. Yeah.
I just, that to me is so significant.
It's very synchronistic.
We could not, and it wasn't even until we were all on the call together, I think, that any of us clicked that we were friends on social media, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Rachel, let's because we've got to wrap up in a minute, and I'm loving. We could talk for hours, obviously. Just, and I wish Sophie was here because I would love for her to share her response to this. But let's just go into the whole dating thing because you both are actually putting yourself out there and dating. And I know for Sophie, I don't think she expected to be doing that during this program. I definitely, and I know that what shifted for her was, I mean, she did so much healing and awakening around this idea that it was dating and calling in someone was about her and what she wanted, that she didn't have to bend herself and be what he wanted, because her focus of attention was always, how should I show up? What does he want? How should I be? And it was that sort of people pleasing thing. And it went right back into her early career, actually. Anyway, she did lots of healing around that. And now she's approaching dating in a really empowered way, and she's curious and she's testing it out, and she's on, what does she call it, a carousel. She's on a dating carousel. So she's just dating lots of people, and she's practicing asking for what she wants, saying what she thinks, checking them out instead of having them check her out. It's different, subtle but powerful. You are also now out on the dating scene. Do you want to share how that's been?
So I had been doing a lot of online perusing, if you will, and had a dalliance last summer that kind of knocked my confidence, and then had gone out on a few dates pre-COVIDity round 2, and hadn't had, and I stand by this. I have pretty much decided that the dating app game is not one that I enjoy playing enough to invest my time in. But whilst we were on the course, I really changed my approach and started approaching it with some masculine energy. And that was a game changer. So
Yeah.
I haven't deleted profiles or anything yet. I'm just letting the subscriptions wind down. And I've found a matchmaker that I do want to work with when I'm ready to do that.
Yeah.
And invest in that, because again, that's another significant investment.
Mm.
And I don't want to be playing the field while I'm doing that. But I do feel like I'm still at a stage where I am kind of still playing the field. So I've gone out recently on a few dates with the same person, and I'm really enjoying his company. And it's relaxed and it's easy, and it doesn't stress me out when I don't hear from him. I don't wonder where I stand. I don't feel like I have to try to attract his attention. I'm not jumping up and down going, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm not playing any games that I've been taught to play. I mean, I'm half Southern, US Southern. So we're taught from a very early age how to play the coquette. And I'm not doing any of that. At least I'm not doing any of that intentionally. Like, if there's a part of that is part of my personality, I'm flirty by nature. If there's a lamp in the room, I'm going to flirt with it. So that's just innately part of who I am. I can't, and I don't want to turn that off. I love that about myself.
Yeah.
But I do know where my boundaries are. And every day they become a little firmer. They might shift slightly. I learn something new about myself. I learned something new. Like, I had not, if I'm perfectly candid, I didn't want to admit that I would like to get married again. Because I still haven't quite unpicked why I didn't want to admit that. But I would, and I do. And I know that that's on I know that's in the cards for me. Wow. I'm not in a hurry to get there. I'm in no rush. And I think that's, when James Priest and you in the same mastermind session called me out on my bullshit. James is like, why do you put that your work and your kids take precedence over everything? He's like, do you even want to be dating now? And I'm like, I don't know. No, I don't think I do. I would like someone to spend time with. I don't want to be going out on dates every Friday night with new people. I don't want to be going out to bars, when we can do that. I don't want to have Zoom first dates. I can't meet you for a call. If I don't want to take time out of my day to meet you.
But funnily enough, after that, you started dating. But you met this guy. And what I've loved about watching you in this is your approach is so different. Like you said, it's relaxed, it's easy, there's no anxiety. Like, what I've heard from you share with other dating experiences, there was anxiety and worry and judgment and pretty unhealthy, actually.
Yeah, definitely.
And that
on both sides of the equation. Like, I was bringing all of my codependent tendencies to the table and was definitely going out of my way to attract people who were familiar.
Right.
And not in healthy ways.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And learning the difference between that bubble of anticipation and excitement that's positive, and that kind of gut churning, oh, this is familiar. Like, because there's that first moment where they feel very similar, but they are not similar. And that has been huge. And it wasn't, like I said, I am looking for someone to spend time with and see what happens, but I'm not in a hurry.
Yeah.
So I'm not actively dating. I mean, but I am dating, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not opposed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I think you've just redefined dating for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're approaching it in a way that feels good for you. And that's what you're doing.
And what I also discovered is that apps bring out my addictive tendencies.
Right.
And I spend time not being present in my life because I'm worried about what might be happening on an app. I sent a like to someone. Has anyone liked me? I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but as James really does share in the masterclass, how they're designed to do that. It's like designed for that, isn't it?
But you know, for somebody with a genetic predisposition to be an alcoholic or a drug addict, technology is just as addicting. And there's a reason I don't go to places like Vegas. I don't understand craps, but I will put all of my money down thinking that I'm going to win big.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, and I don't inherently have the stop switch. Like it's a switch that I have to actively go and find. There isn't a point where I will just be like, oh, we're not going to do that anymore. Actually, having said that, before starting on this portion of my work, I would say I didn't know how to flick that switch intuitively. Now what I'm finding is that actually I'm full. I don't want to sit down at the craps table and play more than 2 hands. I don't want to go out and do this. I don't want to be on this app, or this app. I can mute my Instagram through the day and not feel like I have to post every week, you know, because I don't use it for work.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you're using it for different tools, it can be both your greatest asset and your biggest weakness. I mean, there was a point, I think, at the height of COVIDity, especially, where Instagram was great for me because it was another way to connect with my tribe. But now that I'm able to actually connect with people in person, again, to a certain degree, I don't need to connect with them as much through those outlets.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, darling, so much. We must wrap up. Final word. Do you have a final something that okay, let's consider where our audience is women, some of whom will be considering joining Daring and Mighty Love. What would you say to them?
I would say that it's an opportunity to discover parts of yourself that you never even realized that you needed to discover to become your own soulmate. And it certainly is an opportunity to grow in a way that, again, one of the things I noticed this time and the last time I did the course, is that we all, there seems to be this trend of I'm broken, or there's something wrong with, there's wrong, it's broken, I'm broken. Things break for a reason. And if it feels like you're broken, it's because you had to break to move on and to go into that next chapter. The money aspect of it, it is an outlay. There's no doubt about it. But somebody once told me, if it's worth it, if it feels expensive but worth it, it's worth every penny you put into it. And that you'll know that it's for you. You'll know, and you'll do it.
Yeah.
There just isn't like, I would not have said at the start of the 5-day challenge in February that I would have done it.
Yeah.
No. As we've established, 4 canceled calls. But the minute, I sat down on that call, and 2 minutes in, I'm sobbing hysterically. And 5 minutes in, I've already made up my mind. And I think we ended up talking during that call for an hour, even though it was supposed to only be a half hour. And we left the call, and I said, all right, well, I'm going to confirm that I'm doing this with you after I wake up from my nap. And you're like, okay. I don't think you were sure. You're like, okay, this has been really draining for you. And I, woke up from my nap, and I was like, here you go. You're like, oh, right. Okay. You mentioned it. I was like, I've decided we're doing this.
Yeah.
And that's how, if it's your time to do this work and you're doing it with Katie, you'll know.
Yeah. It's an intuitive hit.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Darling, thank you for taking time out of your busy
Thank
day.
you.
And I know you're juggling sick child as well as work and this. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And thank you for being just a star client. I've enjoyed working with you so much. We've gone through so much together, and I'm so excited to see what's next for you. I really am. Yeah.
And thank you for this week. And thank you so much.
Sure.
I love you. I'm going to go check on my little one. Thank you,
Love
Katie.
you too. Thank you so much, darling. Bye. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, there we have it, from the horse's mouth. Only a couple of the girls could join today because everyone's so busy, right, with work and everything. But I hope that you received some answers, some inspiration, and if you are at all interested, if you feel like you've got that kind of gut, I think it's for me. I'm scared, I'm shitting my pants about it, but I do think it's for me. Get on a call with me and let's explore it together. We'll have a conversation and let's just get you to a yes that feels really good for you, or a no that feels really good for you, but be in your power around your decision. That's what these calls are about. Okay, sending you loads of love, and I cannot wait to be on the live with you again tonight at 8 o'clock, answering all your questions and celebrating just how far you've come and how amazing you are. Love you all loads. See you tonight. Bye.